Bueno, sentí el dolor cuando andaba yo replantando el brócoli. Sí.
I felt the pain when I was planting broccoli, and I do this bending down the whole day. He never asks us if we're tired. We do this for our families, our wives, our children. If we don't go out there to work, how are we going to feed them?
Every year, more than 20,000 laborers, mostly from Mexico, come to Canada as part of an agreement with the Mexican government to provide workers under Canada's Seasonal Agricultural Program.
To put it this way, what we make here in an hour is what we make in Mexico in a whole day.
Bringing workers from abroad sounds like a win-win proposition. Workers make much more than they would back home, and Canadian farmers get the labor they need to harvest their crops. But when Mexican workers are in trouble, they don't complain out of fear of losing their jobs.
The employer has to provide a review of each worker, which determines pretty much whether that worker is going to come back again the following year or not.
This review goes directly to the Mexican consulate. Otero has found that 90% of workers want to come back, and almost half of them keep working without complaining, despite illnesses or injuries.
They don't want to do anything because they know if they pursue this complaint, when they go home in Mexico, they will be probably blacklisted.
For migrant workers, being blacklisted means that they won't be allowed back into Canada for work. But the Mexican government, in a statement, said that blacklisting doesn't exist and that it is without basis. But Lucy Luna, coordinator for the Agricultural Workers Alliance in Abbotsford, says workers are still afraid to complain and turn to her in desperation.
And when he said, "You help me, or something's going to happen, I'm going to die, or somebody's going to die in my family, please get me out of there."
In a recent case, Luna helped farm workers Jose Ibarra Soto and Roberto Núñez Tadeo. They claim a drunk and abusive foreman threatened them.
I was angry, and when I stood up, he threw a beer at me. It landed at my feet.
The abuse went on for 3 months until it reached a breaking point. They complained to the employer, but it continued. So they decided to quit. They asked the employer to send them back to Mexico, something guaranteed by their contract.
She said, "I can't let you go. I can't let you go, and I won't let you go."
So Luna turned to Canadian officials, but both the police and Service Canada said they had no jurisdiction.
We want to talk to somebody that deals with the seasonal workers.
Without help from the authorities, critics worry that temporary workers are caught in limbo.
They get assigned to a specific employer, and they don't have the right to look for alternative employers if they happen to consider their employer to be unfair or treat them poorly.
Otero has investigated working and safety conditions for migrant workers in BC. He says he found weak government regulations and safeguards.
There is no implementable, enforceable, common, minimum, decent labor standard that is enforced in this province.
In statements, the Mexican consulate said workers with complaints should go to Canadian authorities. But Canadian authorities said the opposite, to contact their country of liaison officer, the Mexican consulate.
There is a series of jurisdictional levels that make it problematic to have an adequate enforcement.
In frustration, Luna decided to take Jose and Roberto's case to the media.
And now a CBC News investigation that's getting results for 2 farm workers tonight.
After the CBC story ran, Jose and Roberto's employer paid for their tickets to Mexico.
They are now en route to Mexico.
Luna hopes these men will be able to return because she knows how the workers desperately need this job.
And when a worker loses their job because you try to do the right thing, it is a pain that never ends. I'm willing to fight this until the day I die.